Aid soldiers' rations through history. 1. Roman soldiers had to hunt for food. Roman armies hunted everything that was available. This is clear from archaeological remains of wild animals. Soldiers were given just 1 pound of meat daily, but that wasn't enough, so they had to supplement it. Soldiers were also given diluted wine. Their main sources of calories were wheat and barley. 2. The Crusaders weren't fed regularly. During the First Crusade, soldiers provided their own food stores. They mortgaged their property to equip themselves. Later crusades were supplied by Venetian merchants, but the soldiers were always hungry. Whenever they got to the Muslim camp, they'd start eating. It cost them several battles. Muslim soldiers had field kitchens with huge cauldrons. The Christian invaders had nothing comparable. 3. The Mongols brought entire herds with them. Genghis Khan's horde wasn't able to carry much. Warriors were supplied by their own households. As territories were conquered, the Mongols discovered new foodstuffs. The Mongols never stayed in one place for a long time, so they brought herds of cows and sheep with them on campaigns. When herds were unavailable, the horsemen would hunt. Otherwise, they subsisted on dried milk curd, cured meat, and mare's milk. 4. The Janissaries were the first army to eat well. The Janissaries were soldiers of the Ottoman Empire. They're considered the first modern standing army. The soldiers were given fresh-baked bread. They received a daily meat ration of lamb and mutton. They were even issued honey, coffee, rice, bulgur, and barley for the horses. 5. George Washington's army fought on a hungry stomach. The Continental Congress lacked taxing authority, so it had no funds to purchase supplies. The problem was made worse by transportation and supply issues. Some soldiers went days without a ration. In 1775, Congress determined a uniform daily ration. It included 1 pound of beef, or 3/4 of a pound of pork, or 1 pound of salted fish. 1 pound of flour or bread was also issued, plus a pint of milk. The weekly ration added 3 pounds of peas or beans. 6. Napoleon's army couldn't rely on rations. On campaign, his soldiers spent most of their time hungry. Theoretically, French rations included 24 ounces of bread and half a pound of meat. Also included were an ounce of rice, a quart of wine, a gill of brandy, and a half gill of vinegar. Baguettes were invented for the French army too. It was a way to carry the bread ration in the legs of their pants. 7. Union troops had a substantial ration. During the Civil War, rations were standardized. Soldiers received 3/4 of a pound of meat, 1 pound of flour or cornmeal, a vegetable, vinegar, and molasses. Over time, it became impractical. The army began issuing hardtack biscuits called salt cakes. Salted meat and dehydrated vegetables were also added. 8. The GIs hated their World War II rations. For U.S. troops, there were 2 major types of rations. The C ration was issued to combat troops. The K ration was less bulky and meant for airborne regiments. The C ration's contents varied. There was a main course, such as franks and beans. There was some canned fruit and chewing gum. Chocolate bars, instant coffee, processed cheese, and crackers were common. The rations were designed to provide 3 meals each. They were universally unpopular. Later soldiers would get powdered drinks like lemonade and sweetened cocoa. K rations had 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They contained 4 ounces of meat and/or eggs, cheese spread, crackers, candy, gum, and a sugary drink.